Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story that's definitely, one of the crazier and darker stories I've done in a while. Titled, I, a 22-year-old male, have been married to my wife, a 26-year-old female, for a year, and I'm still a virgin. What do I do here? And guys, this is about a guy, he got married when he was 21 years old. To his now wife, who was 25 at the time. Been with her for 4 years, since he was 17. And you're going to see that he's been with her for a year, and he's still a virgin. They never consummated the marriage. You're going to see that when he met her, obviously he was a virgin, and she led him to believe that she was pure as well. And lo and behold, as you're going to see in the story here, they get married and all that, no lovin'. And then he obviously finds out that, let's just say that she isn't as pure as he thought. However, there is a lot more going on behind the scenes than he would ever expect. And I'm not going to reveal it now. And let me tell you, while she definitely hid things, there's more going on here that's definitely really dark and twisted. And actually not her fault, if, in fact, the story is accurate. So I'm going to go through this one, guys, and once again demonstrates why you must really do some investigating with your girl before you get with her. And this one's a perfect example. Also, paying attention to the dynamic with her and her family. Can't stress that enough. So it starts off, says here, I was told that I should post here, so here it is. My wife, a 26-year-old female, and I got married in February of last year, 2021. We had a small ceremony due to COVID restrictions, and our honeymoon was canceled due to the same issues. Smack! You got married at 21 years old. Probably the reason he was doing that is because he wanted to get some. That's probably the big urge. That's the problem with these individuals waiting till they get married, that they're so dying to get some that they rush things along and they're too young. Way too young. We've been dating for 4 years prior to getting married, and in that time we haven't had sex or anything close to it. We've kissed and cuddled and things like that. He says, all good, and I like doing that, but we've never done anything more. She told me that she was waiting for marriage. Let's remember that part. Which is fine, and I was happy with that, as I have always thought we would get married. He's thinking, all right, I got a gal that's pure. That's rare these days, huh? Well, you're going to see. Fast forward to the wedding day, and I'm about to explode from excitement. Define excitement. Firstly, I'm marrying the woman of my dreams. Secondly, we finally get to have sexy time. No wonder you're not getting any when you refer to it as sexy time, dude. The wedding itself was really nice, pretty basic, in a small chapel, close family only, and back to your parents' house for a meal. And he's just sitting there at the dinner table, like shaking, dying to let, what do you call it? Old Faithful blast. That's what he's dying to do. We then went back to my wife's house, and I was ready for it. But she said she was too tired after a long day. I've been with you for 4 fucking years, and we haven't done anything, and I've been patient and all that, and now here we are, and you had a long day? No problem. What's one more day? I wake up the next morning, and she's gone out already. No idea what time she left, and just a note on the refrigerator. Let me guess. We'll do it next week. That was almost a year ago. I don't know about you guys, but if I had been a virgin and patiently waiting and got married, and believe me, it was a year and of her saying, I got a toothache, it's been a long day, I got a stomach ache, I'm tired. Let me tell you, that marriage would be annulled real quick. Every time I tried to broach the subject, she's either too tired, upset, not in the mood, or some variation of it. She called me obsessed with sex, and I was asking most days at one point, but how can I be obsessed if I never had it? Look, here's the deal. Nobody should physically do what they don't want to do. Okay, fine. But if you are getting married and you are in a romantic relationship and there's a thing called consummating marriage, and of course one day having kids, there's going to be some sex going on. And if his needs are being met, and this is exactly what he gets, then he has every right to terminate that contract, that business deal. I mean, it's not fair to him. I've taken her on romantic date nights, and as soon as sex is mentioned, she's put off because it should be spontaneous. So I tried to be spontaneous, engaging, but she accused me of attempting to S-word do things to her. If she didn't give consent prior, I'm so confused. Well, guys, wait till you see what's really going on behind the scenes here. I've grown closer with one of her friends over the last few years. I'm also good friends with her younger brother. And I was out for a coffee with her during the week, and she asked how the bedroom life was going. Something she talks about with reference to herself, but I often deflect when she asks about my experiences. So, his wife's female friend is asking about the loving going on in the bedroom. You would think this female friend probably knows. Or the fact that she's very open about hers, what does that say? When I confessed that we had never done anything, she was really shocked. I thought, who wouldn't be shocked about a married couple who were both still virgins? But no, she was shocked because her friend, my wife, was, wait for it, gentlemen, incredibly promiscuous before she met me and has done all sorts of things with all kinds of different people. She estimates at least 14 lovers that she knows about. And this is the gal that doesn't want to do anything with her now husband, a guy that she's supposed to be in love with, the man of her dreams, all that. He's not getting anything beyond a freaking hug or a French kiss. Meanwhile, she's had supposedly 14 dudes, which in no way, shape, or form do I think that's the accurate number, doing all sorts of crazy things, and he doesn't get anything more than a kiss. I think this guy's a right to be annoyed. This has left me even more confused. Am I just undesirable? Why did she marry me if I'm not attractive? I've waited 4 years to get married and have sex with a woman that I love, and now I'm still waiting. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Well, honey, you got some explaining to do. And you're going to see, gentlemen, in a moment, there's some serious explanations to one part of this whole thing that's definitely nuts. Well, look, he's 22 years old now. His whole life's ahead of him. Annulment. End of story. I mean, I believe you can do it up to a year, and they never consummated it. Now on to part 2, where we're going to see what's really going on here. And, well, you might need a drink after this one, guys, and maybe even a shower. It says, hi all. If this post seems disjointed at all, it's because I keep having to walk away from it. Firstly, I want to thank everyone that reached out to me, either on the post or by the message. I've read every single post, comment, and message, and it was exhausting, by the way. And I appreciate everyone that was thoughtful and wasn't rude. I know that a lot of you want an update, so I'll do my best to convey everything that has taken place in the last 24 hours. I sit at my desk right now, and I can't focus on my work at all. He says, the update, where the hell do I start? I sat down with my wife on Sunday. She spent the day at her parents' house on Saturday, which I realize now that I'm writing that the ramifications of that. At first, she was totally unreceptive. I asked that she just listen and talk to me, then take a few moments to consider her response. She agreed. I talked to her calmly as I was able to, and I told her that I was concerned that I wanted to love my wife in every way possible, that I married her because I loved her, all of her, and that I wanted to know what was going on with her. I don't know how this guy's saying, 14 dudes? You were hooking up with dudes all in college doing all sorts of things? But he's taking the calm approach. I told her I knew she had been S-word active in the past, and I wanted to know why they were able to be with her wholly, but I wasn't. Holy, huh? Interesting choice of a word there. This is incredibly simplified as I talked for almost an hour and she listened without interrupting. In what universe can a woman go 1 hour without saying a goddamn word? That's impressive. As I talked, she started crying. Gee, that wasn't predictable. She didn't sob or break down. She was quiet and tears rolled down her cheeks, and that honestly made something inside me break, and I began crying too. I don't cry. I haven't cried since I scuffed my knee when I was 7 years old. Exaggeration, but you get the idea. After I finished talking, we sat and looked at each other for some time, and I could see she was thinking. She just silently shook her head, and at that point, things nearly fell apart. And I asked her if she wanted me to contact a solicitor on Monday to begin the divorce proceedings. She fully broke down. She cried so hard, sobbing, that she ended up like a ball on the floor. This shocked me. I've never seen her like that. I don't remember doing it, but I ended up on the floor cuddling her while she cried. Well, either there's something seriously screwed up with her behind the scenes that he's not aware of, or she's the greatest actress in history. And then the dam broke. She started talking, And I really didn't know what to say other than repeat what she said to me. I got her permission to type this all out, but I had to keep it vague for various reasons that will become obvious. He says here, I'll say now that if you're sensitive or triggered by S-word assault, you should click away right now. Now here's the part this is really screwed up, and either this is the greatest, most concocted BS story ever, or it happened and it's absolutely terrible. And I'm going to go on the basis that what she's saying is accurate. According to her, so her dad from here, I'll call him Dave, isn't her real dad. Dave came into her life when she was 7 years old. Her biological dad exited when she was just 5 years old. I never knew this. I just knew him as her dad. Dave was the perfect dad for years, by her memory. He took her out for ice cream, looked after her when she was sick, spent money on her, bought her nice things, etc. You know, dad type of stuff. When she was 13 or 14, he began to do things, express his love in ways he shouldn't have. His excuse, apparently, was that she was developing a developing young gal, and she was a temptation for all men. So who better than someone that loves her? As you can guess, this developed to him coming to her bed late at night. What a fucking piece of shit. If this is true, and I'm going to go on the basis that it's true, this guy needs to be, well, you know what. When she was in her later teens, 16, 17, she thinks, he would take her out to allow his friends to have fun with her. One of these friends went around bragging about it and got word out, and my wife got tarnished with a few nasty monk ears that I'll let you imagine. Her friend, the one I had coffee with, heard about it, and other conquests through the grapevine. She knew my wife at the time, but they weren't really friends until college, where she tried to ask my wife about it, but my wife shrugged it off. I asked how the friend knew, as it confused me somewhat. When she was about to head to university, Dave, her stepdad, bought a house around the corner for his or her to live in. This is the house we've been living in for the past few years. He'd make regular visits to her and keep financial control over her bank account, and that he owned the house. Dave wasn't happy when my wife met me and insisted that she not sleep with me. Me being a virgin made that a sell very easy, I guess. He threatened to expose her and to kick her out of the house and cut her off. This guy's a fucking lowlife. Oh my God, this guy, he deserves to burn. And her mom too for knowing about this. This continued until our engagement. I asked the man for his daughter's hand in marriage, and he acted thrilled. He even gave me an expensive bottle of whiskey to celebrate. Dave promised my wife that he would end the arrangement when we got married, and even giving her a parting gift by transferring the house into her name and giving her a cash present. Safe to say that didn't happen. He decided that she was too good for me. On our wedding day, he demanded a BJ off of her and told her to come over the following day, which is where she was. He told her whilst he was doing things that he wouldn't tolerate another man using her body, and she wasn't allowed inside her. After he was done with her, she left and cried all day and even thought about ending herself. When I heard that, I nearly lost it. I'm not a small guy, 6'3", and well built. And I was ready to go around and rip this thing apart. Again, if this horrible story is true, no one could blame this guy for running over and doing what needs to be done. This guy does not deserve a trial or anything like that. My wife stopped me and continued. Her swimming, although some think she was using as a cover, was legit. She swims daily and it's her way of coping. The regular visits to her parents' house are for him. There was more. So much more. My head hurts. Hell, my very soul hurts. I didn't sleep at all last night, and I have had this burning anger and hatred deep down. I still love her, but my soul feels like it's been torn apart. So I'm going to stop here and say this. This is absolutely horrible, and that this type of shit happens. And that guy, you know where this guy is going, and the mother for knowing about this. But at the end of the day, I mean, just a lot of stories I hear about this is when gals or these type of things happen when they're young, they become very promiscuous, and all that. But the thing is, you can't blame her. Nobody wants to admit this type of thing happened or happens, But this guy married her and had no idea. I can understand why she wouldn't admit it, but also she was obviously frisky with other dudes and didn't tell him as well. And that he had a right to know. And a guy has a right to know what he's getting into. As soon as she got it all out, I contacted the police, who came to the house and took her statement. All the stuff she said to me and more that I either don't remember or she left out to spare me. She gave names and dates, showed phone records, and even written evidence from emails and a secure messenger that Dave insisted that she used to chat with him. Everything. He and his wife, my wife's mother, were arrested immediately. I've arranged for her to go to therapy. The first session is this week. Well, thank the Lord that she talked to the cops and got those a-holes arrested, and they are, let me tell you, that guy isn't going to make it 24 hours in prison. That I can tell you. And that mother, if she knew about all this and looked the other way, she's not going to last much longer. This girl's going to need a lot more than just a few therapy sessions. That's the update. It is horrible. It's a mess. I'm a mess. My wife is a mess. And I'm going to be here for her. I'm going to try and set things right and do whatever I can. We're getting the F out of this house as soon as we can. I'm looking for rentals at the moment. I have almost enough saved to put down a down payment on a new house, but we'll cross that bridge when we're ready. Thanks for being here. Thanks for letting me rant. And thanks for your support. I told you it was crazy. Holy freaking shit. And if this guy stays with her, sounds like he is going to be, there's going to be a lot to deal with for a very, very long time. She's going to need years of therapy, and amongst many other things. Now, I am not in the white knight business, and we all know darn well what happens to white knights and all that. And again, I mean, this is true. This is horrible. It's not her fault what happened to her. However, and you can understand why she didn't tell this guy because of humiliation and embarrassment, but this was going on still while they're together. So this is an ugly situation, and it's a tough one, really. Even I'm at a crossroads like in this situation. I'm not in the white knight business. I don't think guys need to get involved when girls are damaged and screwed up, And of course, if she was hooking up with other dudes and kept it all quiet, aside from the shit that was going on with her stepdad, this guy had a right to know, and she deceived him. And the fact that for a whole year, he wasn't. And then one could say, well, that guy was telling her not to sleep with him, and that guy has such control over her mind. But at the end of the day, does this guy want to go through the rest of his life with a very damaged, messed up woman? I don't know. It seems like he's a nice guy. He's going to do that, but he's going to be dealing with a hell of a lot. So it's a tough situation here. And I'm still at a crossroads. On the one hand, say, hey, you know what? I've loved you and cared for you, and it's terrible all those things happen, but, look what I'm dealing with here. I'll be with you and help you, but I just can't be married to you. Or he stays with her and helps her get through this, and she could be screwed up for life. Who knows? So it's definitely a crazy one. So I'd like to hear your opinion, guys. This is one of the ones that I'm really stumped on what to do. Doesn't happen much. I think this is the only time I've ever been that debating on hearing a story like this. So I'd like to hear about your comments in the comment section on the basis that this is real. This is a real story, and what she's saying is true. Because if this is total bullshit from her, then good freaking Lord, this is the craziest BS story ever. So I'd like to hear what you think about this. We're going to leave this story with a big question mark on what you think this guy should do in this situation with her. Stay with her. Go through all this. Be understanding and loving, and hopefully she can be truthful to him with everything going forward. Or he ends it, but he's there for her to help her get through it, but he just simply, there's too much stuff that he wasn't aware of. I'd like to hear your opinion on the subject. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.